What's going on right now? I killed somebody. What else is there else to do and say?
Well, what is there to say is to get your story out there about what actually happened.
I don't give a fuck about having a story out there. Fuck you. Y'all don't give a damn.
December 12, 2024. A woman tells police negotiators she just killed somebody, and she's saying it while streaming live on Facebook with blood all over her hands and a dead man on her living room floor. But listen, Nikki Reed didn't just snap that morning. She'd been telling the whole internet what she was about to do for months. Everybody was watching. Nobody stopped her.
Cameras rolled as Warren police moved in, taking a woman into custody and placing her into an ambulance. A peaceful ending to a standoff that began with the woman claiming during a FaceTime call with a friend that she killed someone. That friend saw the victim's bloody body during the call. During the live stream, the woman claimed the person she killed sold her boyfriend drugs that led to his death earlier this year.
So let me back up and tell you how we got here. It started in August 2024 when Nikki's boyfriend Lawrence Matthew died from a drug overdose. Now, this wasn't your typical heroin or fentanyl situation. According to Nikki, Lawrence had been given something called poppers. And if you don't know what that is, it's amyl nitrite, a liquid inhalant that people, mainly in the LGBT community, use to enhance sexual experiences. You're supposed to breathe in the vapors. The drug relaxes your muscles and gives you this intense rush. But Lawrence didn't inhale it, he drank it. And drinking poppers is like drinking nail polish remover. It's toxic. It's deadly. Nikki blamed whoever gave him that drug. In her mind, they didn't just supply it. They murdered him. And for 4 months, that anger just sat inside her, festering, until she found someone to make pay for it.
Tonight, family members are now identifying the victim killed in a crime that's tragically gone viral. That's when the accused killer live streamed from the crime scene. The suspect, 30-year-old Dominic Robinson, who identifies as a trans woman and just faced a judge for the very first time. She's accused of stabbing Mucari Finley to death, believing he was responsible for the death of her boyfriend.
No, go ahead, keep singing. Go keep singing. Why you gonna stop? No, go ahead, hit them notes. Why you scared now?
No, I ain't scared.
You scared?
They ain't paying me.
His family called it a triple murder. The first, the stabbing, multiple wounds, a 29-year-old chef bleeding out on a stranger's floor. The second, the public execution, his killer going live on Facebook, dragging his body through the digital streets for thousands to see. The third, the character assassination, lies told while he was still warm, painting him as a drug dealer when he'd never even had a parking ticket. December 12, 2024. Mucari Finley thought he was going on a date. He had no idea he was walking into a premeditated murder that his killer had been planning for months. 29 years old, a chef, a son, swiped right on what he thought was a date. Instead, he walked into his own murder, and the killer made sure everyone watched. Who was Mucari Finley? Mucari Finley wasn't supposed to die at 29. He was a chef, and not just somebody flipping burgers at a chain restaurant. We're talking about a celebrated chef. The kind of person who understood that food was more than just eating. It was art. It was connection. It was love on a plate. His family owned a restaurant in Flint, Michigan. And when you walked through those doors, you weren't just getting a meal. You were getting a piece of their legacy. Let me tell you something. Mucari came from a family that believed in building, in creating, in leaving something behind that mattered. This wasn't some kid running the streets with no direction. This was a young man who showed up, put in the work, and made his people proud. No criminal record, not even a parking ticket situation. The man was clean. And despite what you might have heard floating around on the internet after his death, Mucari wasn't out here selling anything illegal. He wasn't using. His family made that crystal clear when they had to step forward and fight for his name. Because yeah, they had to do that. More on that in a minute. But for now, just know this. Mucari Finley was living his life, building his career, being a son, a nephew, a brother, a friend. He had people who loved him, people who needed him, and he had so much more life to live. So what happened? Like a lot of people these days, Mucari was on the dating apps, swiping, chatting, trying to meet somebody. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. That's how folks connect now. That's the world we live in. He matched with someone, started talking. The conversations were flowing. Things seemed cool. They hadn't met in person yet, but they'd been messaging back and forth for a while, building that rapport, getting comfortable. The person on the other side of those messages was Dominic Robinson, 30 years old, went by the name Nikki Pop sometimes. She identified as a trans woman, and according to what came out later, she had her own situation going on, her own pain, her own loss. See, Dominic's boyfriend had died earlier that year, and that grief, that anger, it was sitting inside her, waiting for somewhere to go. But here's where things get murky. Here's where the truth starts to split into two completely different stories. Mucari's family believes, and this is important, they believe that Mucari may have known Dominic's boyfriend. That maybe, just maybe, there was something intimate there, some kind of connection between Mucari and the man who had passed away. But what they're absolutely sure about? Mucari had nothing to do with drugs, wasn't selling them, wasn't using them. That narrative that would later explode across the internet? Complete fiction. But Dominic had a picture in her head, a story she'd convinced herself was true. And whether Mucari knew it or not, when he agreed to finally meet up with her in person, he wasn't walking into a date. He was walking into a setup. Now let's talk about the catfish situation because this is crucial. The picture Dominic had been using in her profile? That wasn't what Mucari saw when he arrived. Girl, imagine that. You've been talking to someone online. You think you know what they look like. You show up and it's a completely different person standing in front of you. That moment of confusion, that second of, wait, what's happening here? Might have been the last clear thought Mucari Finley ever had. Because Dominic wasn't there to talk. She wasn't there to get to know him better. She wasn't there for a drink or a meal or a laugh. She was there for blood. The address was in Warren, Michigan, Dominic's home. And when Mucari walked through that door, he had no idea he'd just crossed the threshold into his own death. Dominic Robinson had been planning this, not just thinking about it, not just mad venting, actually planning, plotting. The prosecutors would later say there was evidence of extensive planning, premeditation. And not just with Mucari either. Evidence pointed to Dominic potentially planning to harm at least one additional person. This wasn't a crime of passion. This wasn't a fight that got out of hand. This was an execution disguised as a meetup. And once Mucari was inside, Dominic made her move. The attack was vicious. Mucari Finley was stabbed multiple times. We're not talking about one wound in the heat of an argument. We're talking about a sustained, brutal assault. Blade after blade, strike after strike. There was no chance for him to defend himself. No opportunity to talk his way out. No moment where he could run for the door and escape. Dominic Robinson wanted him dead, and she made sure of it. Mucari collapsed. The blood pooled around him. His breathing slowed, then stopped. And in those final moments, as his life drained out of him on that floor in Warren, he was utterly alone. But Dominic? She wasn't done. Because killing Mucari wasn't enough for her. The revenge she'd been stewing on, the rage she'd been holding on to since her boyfriend died, it needed an audience. So she grabbed her phone, opened up Facebook, and hit go live. Period. She pointed that camera at Mucari's lifeless body and started talking. Started telling her side of the story to anyone who would watch. And people did watch. Hundreds, maybe thousands, scrolling through their feeds, stopping at the shock of it, unable to look away. This wasn't a news report. This wasn't a crime scene photo that leaked later. This was happening in real time. A man's body on the floor, a woman standing over him, speaking directly into the camera like she was hosting a show. Dominic told the viewers that Mucari had sold drugs to her boyfriend, that those drugs killed him, that Mucari was responsible for her loss. And this murder, this body, this blood, was justice. But here's the thing. The police never confirmed any of that. Not one piece of it. The prosecutors never backed up her claims.
Yeah, I'm sitting in the house with the body. That bitch killed my husband, so I hope that bitch on the floor boat to hell. And I was gonna be writing X after that bitch. You damn right.
Are you talking on Facebook Live?
Yeah, these bitches. talking shit, acting like I'm crazy. I ain't crazy. I've been a good old bitch. That blood is for me. That bitch cut me.
Live and just staying with me so they don't bother you with those stupid questions. But in the meantime, have you given any more thought to just shutting off the Facebook Live and staying
I set that bitch up.
You said you shut it off.
I set it up.
You set it up. What does that mean?
I said they keep asking how the bitch get here. I set it up.
Oh, you're talking to people on Facebook Live about it?
Yeah.
Mucari's family, who knew him better than any stranger on the internet ever could, said it was all lies. But the damage was done. Because once something goes live on social media, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. It spreads. It gets shared. It gets screenshotted and reposted and talked about in comment sections everywhere. Mucari Finley's death became content, entertainment, a spectacle. Dominic kept that live stream going. The police showed up, surrounded the house, and for 5 hours, 5 whole hours, there was a standoff.
Put your gun down. I don't got shit. My hands is out the window. Don't come close.
Okay. They're going to have to get close to put that phone up there for you, Nikki, okay?
Put it right there on the porch. And my hands is right here.
All right, they're going to set it there for you so you can grab it, okay? But don't try to grab it when they're up there.
I'm not. My hands is right here. Sit it down. It's only 2 phones. What the fuck is that big ass ball? Okay, tell him to move. Hello, officer.
5 hours of Dominic talking to the camera. 5 hours of negotiation. 5 hours of Mucari's family somewhere out there, about to find out their son was dead in the worst way possible.
From animal control to saying he needs to go and get his dog. We were under the impression that he was at work, and that's why he hadn't spoken to his mother. Mucari is his mother's best friend. They speak 5-6 times a day. So we immediately contacted his job. When they finally got back to us, a friend that he went to high school with that also works told my wife that Mucari didn't report to work today. We've been calling him all day. And she had his location. And we saw it on Westminster in Warren. I never connected the dots to the stand-up because I wasn't interested in that negativity. And made phone calls to the Center Line police station to do a welfare check at his home. They referred us to Warren because I mentioned to them where his phone was pinging. We couldn't get the straight answer from Warren until we got there, and they took us in a room and told us plainly that Mucari was no longer alive. And then to realize, even in that moment, we didn't even connect the dots that it was that. It wasn't until later on, when a family member hooked up, who was lodged in the Macomb County Jail around that time in the morning. And then it all came together. If I had clicked on that live, I would have saw my son's body. You can't imagine the level of pain to find out that man, that not only was he murdered, but that it was live streamed. And then to have to read all of the disgusting things that people have been saying about him. They don't even know him. Who only went off of what this person stated in that live video, which the police have already started rebutting through their investigation. Mucari done it for nothing. For nothing. That young man touched so many people's lives. We essentially don't know it. Because every time we meet one of Mucari's co-workers, every single time, they tell my wife and I how much they love Mucari, how much they adore him. And now to go and read all of the tributes on his page, that it was so many other people that loved him, so many other people that feel he helped them, that looked up to him in his profession. So many people who said that he was one of the best chefs that they've ever worked with. Who all thought he had such a bright future. You can't imagine the pain. What did you say that made you unbelievable? I hope you ride with people for the rest of your life. Thank you. Thank you.
See, while all this was happening, Mucari's family didn't even know yet. Mucari was his mother's best friend. They spoke 5, 6 times a day. Every single day. That's just what they did. So when he didn't answer her calls that morning, she knew something was wrong. His family kept calling, and calling, and calling. No answer. They were under the impression he was at work. That's why he wasn't picking up, right? So they contacted his job. When they finally got back to them, a friend that Mucari went to high school with, someone who also worked there, told them the truth. Mucari didn't report to work that day. Now they're really worried. His mother had his location on her phone, so they checked it. Westminster Avenue in Warren. But here's the thing. While the family was tracking Mucari's phone, trying to figure out where he was, the standoff was already all over the news. A person barricaded in a house on Westminster and Warren? Police everywhere? A Facebook Live happening in real time? But Mucari's family? They never connected the dots. They weren't interested in that negativity, so they didn't click on it. Think about that for a second. They found out their son was dead, but they still didn't know how he died. They didn't know it was connected to that standoff everyone was talking about. It wasn't until later, when a family member looked up who was lodged in the Macomb County Jail around that time in the morning, that it all came together. And then they realized, if they had clicked on that live stream, if they had been scrolling through Facebook at the wrong moment, they would have seen Mucari's body. You can't abas to find out in that manner that not only was he murdered, but that it was live streaming. And then you have to read all of this, the disgusting things that people have been saying about him who don't even know him, who only went off of what this person stated in that live video, which the police have already started through their investigation. Mucari died for nothing. For nothing. Can you imagine? Can you even fathom what that must have felt like? Your son is dead. And not only is he dead, but thousands of people watched him die before you even knew he was missing. And now those same people are in comment sections talking about whether or not he deserved it. His family would later describe it as a triple murder. The first being his physical death, the stabbing, the bleeding out, the final breath. The second being what they called a public execution. Like something out of medieval times, except instead of dragging his body through the streets, Dominic dragged it through the digital streets. The Facebook Live made sure the whole world could witness his humiliation. And the third? The character assassination. The lies Dominic told while his body was still warm. The narrative that painted Mucari as a drug dealer, as someone who deserved what happened to him, as the villain in a story where he was actually the victim. Make it make sense. Because while Dominic was live streaming, while the police were negotiating, while thousands of people were watching and forming opinions, Mucari's family was just trying to find their son. So many people who said that he was one of the best chefs that they've ever worked with, who all thought he had such a bright future. But the internet didn't care about any of that. The internet had already decided who Mucari was based on what his killer said about him. So, while all this was happening online, while strangers were debating whether Mucari deserved it based on nothing but a killer's word, his family had to sit with that, had to watch strangers debate their son's character, had to see his name dragged through the mud while his body wasn't even cold yet. And that's when they decided enough. They weren't about to let the internet write the final chapter of Mucari's life. They weren't going to let Dominic's lies become the truth just because she said them loudest. So they called a press conference, packed their family restaurant in Flint, and they spoke up.
You can't imagine the pain.
What did you say to make you operate now?
I hope you rot in prison for the rest of your life.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Family member on triple murder. Mucari has been murdered 3 times, girl. The strength it took to do that. To stand up while you're drowning in grief and fight for your child's name. To correct the record when all you want to do is fall apart. That's love. That's family. That's what it means to refuse to let someone be erased. They laid it all out. Mucari was not a drug dealer. He had no criminal history. He was not a drug user. He was a chef, a good person, someone who deserved to be remembered for who he actually was, not who a murderer claimed he was. Mucari's opportunity to speak was taken away. Period. But here's what really gets me. The family had to do this. They had to stand up in front of cameras and defend their son's name because a killer got to tell her story first. They had to fight through their grief to make sure the world knew the truth. And that's the battle they're left with. And honestly, it's a battle they shouldn't have to fight. When the police finally got inside that Warren home after those 5 hours, they found exactly what thousands of people had already seen online. Mucari Finley's body, the blood, the evidence of a violent, calculated murder. But here's what the viewers didn't see through that live stream: the forensic details. The evidence that would prove this wasn't just a crime of passion. This was something Dominic Robinson had thought about, prepared for, intended to do. Dominic Robinson was arrested after that standoff. Once the live stream ended, once the negotiations were done, once she finally came out of that house, the police took her into custody. And on Tuesday, she faced a judge for the first time.
30-year-old Dominic Robinson, who identifies as a trans woman and just faced a judge for the very first time. She's accused of stabbing Mucari Finley to death, believing he was responsible for the death of her boyfriend. Today, in court, Finley's family wiping away tears from their eyes as they grapple with his loss.
There was also a Facebook Live confession that identified and showed the deceased lying on the floor. There was a 5-hour standoff with police while they continued to live stream.
Prosecution laying out the stunning details in court of a gruesome murder from last Friday when beloved local chef, 29-year-old Mucari Finley, was killed in Warren. Prosecutors say the suspect behind the horrific act, 30-year-old Dominic Robinson, then live streamed the aftermath. Police say during that live stream, Robinson claimed the victim had sold her boyfriend drugs that led to his death earlier this year. However, police have not confirmed these allegations.
Your Honor, involved in this case was extensive planning, at least to one additional person, what the intention was to kill the now deceased.
Inside the Warren courtroom Monday, Robinson appearing over Zoom, the judge setting a $2 million cash bond and ordering a mental health evaluation. Devastated family members there at the arraignment declining a request for interview, but releasing the following statement, which reads in part, "The tragic murder of our son Mucari Finley for all to watch and share as entertainment is something that none of us would have ever thought we would have to deal with." It went on to say, "He was a friend, a brother, an uncle, a nephew, a grandson, and our son. He is loved and his life mattered. He didn't deserve what happened to him."
The charges were read out. First-degree premeditated murder. Not manslaughter. Not second-degree. First-degree premeditated. That means the prosecution had evidence that this was planned. That Dominic thought about it, prepared for it, and executed it with intention. The judge set bond at $2 million cash. Not 10%. Not a bond you can walk out on if you got a cousin with good credit. $2 million cash, which meant Dominic wasn't going anywhere. The judge also ordered a mental health evaluation. And look, that makes sense. You'd have to question the mental state of someone who commits murder and then broadcast it to the world like it's a reality show. Dominic pleaded not guilty. Not guilty. Despite the live stream, despite the body, despite the confession she basically gave to thousands of viewers while standing over Mucari's corpse. Is that what we're doing now? So here's where that leaves us. Mucari Finley is gone, 29 years old, a chef who never got to cook another meal, a son who never got to hug his mother again, a nephew, a brother, a friend. All of that just gone. And for what? Dominic Robinson sits in jail, waiting for her day in court, maintaining her innocence despite the fact that she literally showed the world what she did. But Mucari's family? They're still fighting. Still trying to reclaim their son's name from the internet's grip. Still trying to make sure that when people hear Mucari Finley, they don't think of that Facebook Live. They don't think of the accusations. They think of the person he actually was. For all to watch and share as entertainment. That's what Mucari's death became. Content. A viral moment. Something people watched while eating dinner or lying in beds, scrolling through their phones. See, this case isn't just about one murder. It's about what happens when we turn tragedy into entertainment. When we scroll past someone's death like it's just another post in the feed. When we share it, comment on it, form opinions about it without knowing a single real thing about the person who died. Mucari became a hashtag, a trend, a story people told at work the next day. Did you see that video? Did you hear what happened? But he was a person, a whole entire person with dreams and plans and people who loved him. And his family had to watch him become a meme. And look, I'm not saying Dominic Robinson's pain wasn't real. Losing someone you love, that grief is heavy. It changes you. It makes you want to blame someone, anyone, for the hole that's been ripped in your life. But this wasn't justice. This wasn't healing. This was revenge against the wrong person, broadcasted to the world like it was supposed to mean something. Mucari didn't deserve what happened to him. Period. He didn't deserve to be catfished, didn't deserve to be lured into a trap, didn't deserve to be stabbed multiple times and left to die on a stranger's floor. And he damn sure didn't deserve to have his body displayed on social media while his killer told lies about who he was. But here's what I need you to understand. This could happen to anyone. Your son, your brother, your friend. One swipe on a dating app. One conversation with the wrong person. One decision to meet up. Thinking everything's fine. Thinking you're safe. And then you're not. Mucari trusted what he saw on that profile. He believed the person he'd been talking to was real. He showed up expecting one thing and got something completely different. That's the danger we're living with now. You really don't know who's on the other side of that screen. You don't know what they're planning, what they're hiding, what they're capable of. And even if you do everything right, even if you're careful, even if you're a good person living a clean life, someone else's pain can still find you. Someone else's rage can still reach out and destroy you. So what do we do with that? How do we live in a world where someone can announce their plan to kill you, while thousands of people watch and nobody stops it? We remember Mucari, the person, the son, the chef. We remember that behind every viral tragedy is a family that's been shattered, a life that mattered, a truth that deserves to be told. Because at the end of the day, that's all we have, the truth. And for Mucari Finley's family, making sure that truth was heard, that was the last thing they could do for him. So they did it. And we, everyone who watched, everyone who shared, everyone who formed an opinion, we owe it to him to listen, to hear the real story, to see him as he was, not as his killer tried to paint him. Because Mucari Finley deserved better than what he got. He deserved to live, he deserved to be safe, and he deserved to be remembered for who he really was, not for how he died. Let me tell you something. That's the least we can do. Remember the person, honor the truth, and think twice before we turn someone's tragedy into our entertainment. Because it could be any of us next, any of us. If this story moved you, if it made you think twice about the things we share and consume online, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We tell the stories that need to be told, the ones about real people, real families, and real consequences. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. And if you know someone who needs to hear Mucari's story, share this video. Until next time, stay safe out there.